Morning, Shed Talk. Definitely keep evolving in these times, in these situations and circumstances, what are around us. Again, super duper interesting week. And then when you're working with people, talking to people, for me I find it really interesting. And I find it really interesting where people give themselves permission to say what they're saying, to evidence what they're saying, and to get the desired outcomes. Because there's a belief system out there called entanglement. And this week I've been talking to a couple of people about entanglement. And it's a concept where we allow the negativity to dominate our thoughts. And the entanglement it's just a word for, because we can feel tangled up within self and we can't release that negativity, and we just focus on that negativity. We can't see the woods for the trees. Wake up with our fears. We live through the day with our fears. We go to bed with our fears. And the belief system is 90% of what we worry about doesn't happen. 90%. Wow, that's crazy. Crazy. And we've all been there. I've been there. Might even go back there again. Depending what my deepest fear is, and if that shows up in my life, how do I know how I'm going to respond to that until I'm there at that time? Well, you can actually do a little bit of prevention work there. You can learn strategies to be able to get away from that 90% of worry and make that 90% of worry into 90% of positivity. It's one thing for sure, life is not like that. It definitely has its ups and downs. But it's our responses to the ups and downs, that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be. So we just need to flick it. We need the 90% of positivity. And we're always going to get the negativity in life. Because of, again, the way the world is at the moment, people in it, people full of false promises, and you feel let down by them, and it's like, oh, what do you do then? Well, I learned this a long time ago, and it's to do with the job that I do, working in therapy with people, getting a deeper understanding, not of the people who I work with really, a deeper understanding of me, how I tick, how I respond. Because none of us really like being let down. But you know, people will always, 9 times out of 10, put their own agenda first. They will dress everything up as much as possible, but they'll always go back to their own agenda. It's true. You'll look at people around you, look at people you've had dealings with, look at people where, let's just say, they said they're going to do this and they don't do it. I worked with a lovely lady many years ago, and she said to me, John, 7% of communication is verbal. You need to be aware of the 93%, the non-verbals. We've heard the saying, actions speak louder than words. They do. And we do that to ourselves, don't we? We promise ourselves things. Right, I'm on this nutrition this week. I'm on my healthy eating. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And don't do it. I've been guilty of that myself. possibly might be guilty again a little bit later down the line. We get involved in this entanglement. We create confusion and conflict at times to self. We give ourselves, again, permission to do and not to do. And that's connected to how thoughts produce feelings and feelings produce thoughts. And when we're in that negative loop, negative thoughts, negative feelings, the feelings produce more negative thoughts produce more negative feelings, then we're in the 90%. And with persistence and flexing the neuroscience into it, we're reinforcing our belief systems with compounded beliefs. Then beliefs get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and grow and grow and grow and grow. And we get anxiety and we get a low mood. We can end up with eating disorders. And it's through our responses to the world, our wants, our don't wants. How do we break the chain? We break the chain, and I've said this no end of times, and it's just my view of the world, my map of the world, and what works for me. Because my shed talk and my interventions are based on how I deal with my responses to me, how I deal with responses to other people. I have to step back from myself. I have to create some disassociation, knowing that I'm more than my thoughts, because my thoughts are just my programs, my conditioning, and that sometimes it gets in the way and it becomes a 90%. And I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. I want the 90% of positivity, because I need to work on the 90% of the positivity, because there's going to be a time where I'm going to have some conflict. I'm going to be scared in my life. I'm going to be worried. I'm going to have concerns. I'm not going to be in a great place. And if I scaled it on 1 to 10, 10 being I'm absolutely not in a great place, but I can get that down to a 2 or a 3, that's more manageable. I can see the wood for the trees. Not the other way around. Can't see the wood. Does that make sense? Sometimes we have to wait till we've got that major concern before we start to do anything. We've got to be in the midst of it. We've got to be in the shit before we start to resolve. What we've got to do is start working on our mental well-being, our mental resilience for when them times come along. We've got to do that now. Or I believe so. But again, that's just John's perception of the world. You move towards and become what you think about. You are your thoughts. That concept, you are what you eat. You definitely are. What you put in there affects your body. What you put in your mind affects your feelings. Make the 90% positivity and you'll have more chance of dealing with the 10% of negativity. Shed Talk, thoughts for today. I'm going for a run.